Hi Stampers, it's Gigi with StampFUNatics, and today I have this Easter card for you, and I know it seems early, but you know what? Easter this year is early. It is April 1st, so we are almost done with February, and my mind started going to some of the beautiful daffodils that I have coming up in my yard, and so I decided, you know what? I'm going to just use this, and then I thought, well, why not make it an Easter card? Beautiful Easter lilies, daffodils, it all reminds me of spring. So the set I used for this beautiful card is You're Inspiring, and it has beautiful sayings. It has the Happy Easter. We're going to be using this little swishy stamp. I think it's sort of like, I want to say pollen or seeds or something, but anyway, we're going to be using that stamp and then our beautiful flower stamp today. Also, we're going to be using some of this beautiful designer paper. It is called, let me look at it, Springtime Foils, and this is a paper that you can earn free with a $50 order in our celebration catalog, and you can check that out on my online store at StampFUNatics.com. And it has beautiful silver leaves, and it has gold leaves in it too, so it's silver and gold, very metallic, very shiny. And it has an array of other papers that I showed you in another video. You have some silver stripes, you have the leaves, you have these great kind of copper polka dots, and there's also a floral, this one, which is what I used in the other card in the other video. So if you didn't see it, go check my other YouTube video and you'll see what I did with that one. So for today's card, we're going to need one piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and this measures 5.5 by 8.5, and then I scored it in the middle at 4 1/4, so we can go ahead and fold that. And then I'm using a piece of that designer foil paper, and I cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4, and it is silver leafed, and I actually have started to color a little bit of this because I'm going to bring in my old olive piece, and I'm going to cover about 2 inches of it, so it's 2 inches by 5 1/4, so you don't really need to do all the coloring underneath this because it's not going to show. So I started to color it with my old olive blend marker, and I just wanted to show you just a little bit of coloring because you guys know how to color, and I'm not really doing a lot of shading or anything. So let me get a piece of paper and I'll show you how I did it. Okay. I just took the brush side of my blends marker, and I'm just kind of going from the outside in, that way it won't bleed outside of the lines, and it just glides over this foiled paper. It is such a dreamy, beautiful, I wish I could reach the texture right through the screen there and show you. It is just so fun to color. It's just so easy. So anyway, that's what I did, was I colored all of the leaves that are going to show and did them in the old olive green. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take some of the old olive ink. And then I have this stamp that is, like I said, a bunch of little dots. I'm not sure. Leave a comment and tell me what you think they are. I don't know if it's pollen or little, you know, those little things that fly in the air that are sort of like white. I don't know. But I don't know what that would have to do with the daffodil, and it's in the daffodil set. So anyway, I'm just making a little pattern all over, and I like to go off of the page too. So that's what I did on this one. And then I'm going to take my card base and I'm going to put my cardstock on my designer paper. And here's the deal. You can either use the big piece like I did, which is just easier and faster to put on a card, and then I put this on top. Or if you don't want to waste that 2 inches of this paper, you could match them up, because I am going to take our yellow stitched ribbon and I'm going to put a strip of it right there down the middle. So it would hide if you decided you wanted to do 2 separate pieces and not waste that little 2 inches. For the video, I decided this would be faster. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of my Fast Fuse and just put a little bit on the back of this paper. Oops, I stuck it there, sorry. There we go. And I'm just going to line that up on my card. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the green piece on. Actually, Well, let's do it anyway. All right, and I did do this piece over because I did a little haloing, you know what that is, and I didn't want that to show. So we'll go ahead and just put that piece on. And then for this, I'm just going to measure it across, give a little cut, and let's go ahead and put a strip of this down here. Now for this, I think I'm going to use my tearing tape. Okay, so I'm just going to run my tearing tape right down this ribbon. And make sure you have the pattern, because one is sort of a stitched on one side and then it's crisscrossed on the other, and I do want the crisscross look, so just make sure you're not taping over that. And then I'm just going to pull that off and I'm going to lay it across my card. And let's just do this up here where you can see it. And I'm just putting the strip straight down across. And then I'm just going to cut off the end part. Now, the first time I did this card, I didn't do it that way. I actually, and I'll show you here, I'll make it a little closer. I wrapped it around these two pieces together before I put it onto the cardstock. But if you make a mistake, kind of like what I did, and you already put it on the card, it's not too late. You could just put it down this way and it's still on the card and it's fine. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's get rid of this. Clean up a little as I go. Okay, we're going to need our daffodils. So I have a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to ink it up with my black Memento ink, and then I'm going to let this dry for a while, because when you use the Memento, you want to make sure it's dry before you start working with your blends so that nothing smears or gets, you know, out of, you just want to make sure it's really dry. So let's go ahead and let that release. Okay, and then while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to also stamp my Happy Easter, and I did that in Old Olive ink. So these are the only two inks you're going to need for this card for ink pads. Okay, and let's just stick it down here. And then I can go ahead and let's just cut that down a little bit. I think I did it up high enough so it'll fit. And we're going to be using the Lots of Labels framelits. Now I'm going to use the second largest, or well, let's see, that's the first smallest, second smallest, third smallest. And nope, I didn't. So let's go back. Let's put this in here. Maybe you want to cut yourself a piece first like I didn't do, so that way it's more in the middle. There we go. Okay, so when you take your second smallest one and put it over the Happy Easter, that's going to fit real great. And then I took the third smallest one and I'm going to cut that out of a piece of gold foil. And I'm also taking my largest layering oval that's scalloped, and I'm going to put that because that's going to be the background here of our daffodils. So that I'll run through at one time. And then after I color my daffodils, I'm going to be taking my largest stitched framelit, and I'm just going to put it over that and just cut out what I can of the daffodils, because some of it will go off the paper just like it did, which I love because I think it shows more interest. So I'm going to be taking my Old Olive blend again. This is going to be the color of my greenery. That'll match the greenery in our leaves. And I'm also going to do, let's put this over here because that's got to go through the big shot. I'm also going to use my light and my dark, let's see, Daffodil Delight markers. And these are my blends, that's all I'm going to use. And then the other thing that I have right at the end here is I use some of our bright enamel shapes, and I'm using the Daffodil Delight because it just ties in the ribbon and ties in all the gold and everything in this card. So I'm going to start coloring this, and let me show you how I do the daffodils. And then I'll just go ahead and do the leaves because you don't need to watch me color the whole thing. But I started with my lighter color daffodil, and I just kind of went around the whole flower. And this is on, again, just a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm just going to try to get it all colored in. And then I'll use some of my darker daffodil, which is this. And I'm just going to come in on some of those lines, the dark lines that are there in the daffodil. And that's going to give me some of my shading. And I'm just going to bring that around, maybe do a little bit coming out of the flower. Let's see, how did I do it last time? Same thing. And I just kind of came around both sides of the little piston in the middle there. And let's do a little bit up here. Okay, now here's where the blend part comes in. I'm going to take the other side, which is like a marker side, and I'm just going to make little circles to kind of blend the edges so that they're not too severe and too exact. You know, you want them to blend into the lighter and darker color. So I just kind of make little circles like that, and that just helps to blend in my edges. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's make sure I didn't miss any places there. All right, so you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this, and as soon as I'm done, I'll come back and we'll cut them out. Okay, so I have finished coloring, and I now have my stitched oval around the daffodil, and I also have my gold scalloped oval, and also the lots of label framelit that I'm going to be using underneath my Happy Easter saying. I'm just going to go ahead and run those through. That's about all I could fit on the Big Shot at one time. And I'm going to go ahead and oops, let's see, cut that off. And see how beautiful that looks. And then I'm going to take my gold, and I have my background that I'll put this on, and that'll give it a nice shine. And then I also have the label framelit. And the last thing I need to put on is my Happy Easter saying. And you know what? That looks a little smeary to me. I think I'm going to re-stamp it one more time. Let me just clean my stamp real good. I like it to look like a nice card for Easter. So I'm just going to stamp that one more time. There we go. Better. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. Now I'm going to put my framelit over it. Just kind of center that up. I want to make sure I have enough on each side because I'm going to put those little enamel shapes. Okay, and then I'm ready to put it through the Big Shot now. All right, I've done all my pieces. So let's put the card together. Okay, I'm just going to use a little bit of snail on the back of my saying and measure that up and put it kind of in the center of the gold piece. Okay, and then I'm going to pop that up with a couple dimensionals, one on each end, just to kind of keep it level. And I'm going to put it just overlapping, I'd say a little bit right there. And then the flower, I'm going to do the same thing, a little fast fuse. And I'm just putting it flat down on my foil. This looks good. And then again, I'm going to pop that up. Now, because I have this ribbon down the middle, I'm going to put my dimensionals a little bit on either side. I don't want to put it on the ribbon. So I'll just put a couple over here and a couple over here. And that ought to do it. And I'm really loving this Easter set. It's so spring. Like I said before, I made a spring card, and it was just a nice saying. This would make a beautiful get well. I mean, it could be any season. I mean, not any season. It's going to be definitely spring, but it could be any saying that goes with it. It could be a beautiful birthday gift with a birthday saying. And then the last part I'm going to do is I'm going to take two of my enamel shapes, and I'm going to use the larger ones, and I'm just putting them right on that little outer edge just to give it a little more yellow coming up on the top. Now, you could have used the olive green if you want to bring the green back up. I just decided to do the gold. So that's our card. That was simple and easy. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss other videos coming up, because I will be using this set more and probably some other ones that I have that I haven't touched yet, so I have to get into them. To order the supplies in this video, you can go to my blog at StampFUNatics.com. Make sure to sign up for my newsletter while you're there to keep informed of any specials and to see more creative ideas. Thank you for joining me, and have a great day.